Hello, friends and fellow lovers of all things beachy. Welcome to The Beach Speaks, the podcast that shares stories about the beach and our connection to it. I'm your host and beach lover, Paige Friend, helping you reconnect with the beach, return to your soul, and reimagine your life. So grab a cool drink, relax in your beach chair, stick your toes in the sand, and enjoy this episode of The Beach Speaks. Hey, beach lover. I can't believe it's May. It's almost a month since my last episode, and I thoroughly intended to have this episode up and ready to go a couple of weeks ago. But, well, April was an abundant month of activity, and now it's spring here at the beach, my favorite season. The sea oats on the dunes are starting to turn green again, and the wild dune sunflowers are blooming, their bright yellow faces turning toward the light, and there's this sense of renewal and possibility floating in the ocean breeze. The weather here has been delightful, sunny, not too hot, not too cold, and while the ocean temperature here is still a little bit chilly, it's finally warmed up enough for sunrise paddleboarding. Spring is the time that the beach speaks to me about growth and renewed purpose. How can I channel the peace and serenity of the beach and be a source of calm in a world that's in an ocean of chaos right now? Life's a beach, right? So let's ride the waves together, shall we? I'm so excited to tell you about my latest beach adventure. You know, I've been wanting to explore the Florida Gulf Coast more this year, and I've been dreaming about visiting at least one of those top 10 beaches I keep reading about. So it just so happened our friend Billy invited Ernie to play in a charity golf tournament that his company was helping sponsor. It included a 3-day, 2-night stay for 4 couples at a luxury golf and beach resort at Longboat Key. And for those of you who are not familiar, Longboat Key is on the Gulf Coast south of Tampa, near Sarasota. And Travel and Leisure listed it as this year's best island to visit in the South. Now, I'd been to Siesta Key, which is also near Sarasota, and it's always been a favorite of mine because of the soft white sand and the calm, clear water. But that part of Sarasota has become much more crowded than it used to be. I was excited to experience something a little more private, shall we say? Tranquil? The resort is part of the Opal Collection, which includes the Jensen Beach Resort that Ernie and I visit every January. The rooms have the same capri blue-white color scheme, similar to my favorite hotel in Sorrento, Italy, and the beach looks every bit as Mediterranean as the coast of Greece, with the blue and white umbrellas and chairs lined up 3 rows deep along a large expanse of private beach. The hotel gave us a 4th-floor oceanfront suite. It opened up to a patio large enough for 2 lounge chairs and a round patio table with 4 chairs, overlooking a gorgeous blue-tiled pool. I could see the tops of the tall palm trees swaying in the wind along the stretch of bright white sand and the brilliant blue-green water. We gathered at the pool, lounged there for a while, then returned to our rooms to get dressed for this VIP cocktail reception and dinner. The plan was to meet up at the pool area outside the hotel lobby. We were all running late as usual. It's kind of like herding cats with this crew. The reception was in a corner suite by the pool that had a balcony facing the beach, so I was a little antsy to get there in time to watch the sunset and the full moon rise at the same time. It would be the perfect photo op. While we were all gathered on the patio taking pictures like it was prom, Billy asked the woman in charge of the event if she would take a group photo. Her face lit up like a Christmas tree when he handed her his phone. I thought it was a little strange the way she was holding it, like she was trying to get us all in the frame, all the while making goofy faces and moving the phone at weird angles. After making us say cheese about 10 times, she handed Billy his phone and dashed off. Apparently, while she was taking photos of us, she was also taking selfies, not trying to fit us all in the frame. She confessed later that when strangers stop and ask if she can take their picture, she'll take a few selfies first. I thought, what a fun idea. Kind of like the mime that photobombed me while I was posing for a classic shot on one of the bridges in Venice. It's actually one of my favorite photos from that trip. They served dinner outside, and I was so pleased that I chose to wear the blue, green, and yellow beachy print maxi dress with the long sleeves. I had bought it on our trip to Capri last fall and had been saving it for a special occasion. And the long sleeves really helped keep me warm because the ocean breeze had started picking up speed and it was getting chilly. After dinner, we headed out to the beach. And it was more breezy by this point, and the surf was really picking up. The waves that are usually pretty tame in this area of the Gulf were rolling. By this time, the sky was like black velvet, lit up by stars and constellations stretching across the horizon, and the full moon had risen above the tops of the palm trees, shining sparkles of light over the water. It was just beautiful. Ernie took some really great pictures of me standing barefoot at the water's edge with the stars and the moon above. It was really ethereal. The next day, I spent pretty much the whole day at the beach. And for such a large resort, I was surprised that the beach wasn't all that crowded. I mean, there were only half of the beach chairs taken. The weather was perfect in the low 80s and low humidity. The sun was bright, but it wasn't too hot. And it wasn't really until I felt the sting on my cheeks that I remembered to put on more sunscreen. I'm always forgetting that. The water was a gorgeous, clear and calm blue-green, perfect for anyone who gets a little nervous going into water where you can't see the bottom. Well, that's not me. If it's the ocean, whether I can see the bottom or not, I'm going in. Unless there's a riptide or dangerous marine life. Fortunately, on the Gulf Coast, the chances of either one of those are slim to none. Of course, I took a lot of pictures and videos, thinking, this photo would be great to share on Instagram, or this video would be perfect for my YouTube page. Then I had to stop myself at one point to just be with it all, taking pictures with my mind. Later that afternoon, it got really windy again, and the tops of the waves were actually white caps, which is really unusual for the Gulf at this time. I slept so well that night, listening to the sound of the waves, and then at 6:30 a.m. I was tempted to sleep in, but this was our last chance for a sunrise beach walk. I expected to see at least a few beachcombers, but no one other than the cabana boys setting up the umbrellas and beach chairs were there. We had the beach all to ourselves. Sometime overnight, it must have rained a little because I noticed the sand had the telltale pockmarks left by raindrops, and a few of the beach chairs that had been left out overnight had a little puddle on the seat. But the ocean had returned to its natural, peaceful state where the waves were quietly lapping up on shore. Whenever I'm visiting a beach that's new to me, especially on a morning beach walk, I try to pay extra attention to what kinds of shells or unusual remnants of marine life might have been swept up by the tide. I'd hoped that I might find something new to add to my collection, since Longboat Key was relatively close to Sanibel and Anna Maria Island, which are really famous for shelling. There were plenty of shells, but nothing really new or different until I noticed something I'd never seen before, tucked in some seaweed that had washed up with the tide. It was like a snake skin-like casing wound up in a spiral, like a narrow slinky. I took a picture of it, of course, and Googled it. And apparently, this long curly cluster was actually an egg casing from a female lightning whelk, which is a marine snail that has a very distinctive lightning bolt pattern. And fun fact, lightning whelks are one of the rare left-handed snails, meaning they spiral in a counterclockwise direction. I have a lightning whelk about the size of my hand that sits on my kitchen windowsill, but I never really thought about the creature that created it. I read an article that said when the female lightning whelk reaches maturity at about 9 years old, she deposits her eggs in these casings, which can be up to 3 feet long. The ideal place for the female to lay her eggs is in the shallow water, often in or near seagrass beds. Each casing is one long strand with up to 200 individual pouches attached, and each one of these pouches on the strand contains up to 100 eggs. The female anchors one end of the strand to the ocean floor in an attempt to prevent the casings from washing ashore and drying out. And when the juvenile lightning whelks are ready to brave the ocean on their own, they poke through the pouches and crawl through to begin their journey. And then the remaining egg casing will eventually detach from the sand and drift ashore. So that's what I was looking at. And I was tempted to pick it up for a closer look, but I didn't want to disturb any little ones that might still be there. I did pick up a handful of shells, souvenirs of a perfect beach weekend. The good thing about the end of a beach trip is knowing that when I get home, I'll still be at the beach. My beach. But I know that's not the case for everyone. So I recently asked my friend Jim at Sahu Sacred Oils if he could help me create an essential oil blend with a scent that smelled just like the beach. And we came up with Beach Speaks Room Spray, or what I like to call Coastal Essence Mist, that encapsulates the serenity, inspiration, and grounding energy of the beach, wherever you are. You can use it in your car or spritz it around your bed before going to sleep. I like to spray a little around my workspace when I'm on a Zoom call or when I'm recording a podcast. If you're interested in purchasing some for yourself or another beach lover, just click on the link in the show notes. The commission I receive goes directly to the production of this podcast, and I'm so grateful for all your support. I have some special episodes coming up soon that I know you're going to love, so stay tuned. The beach is speaking. Are you listening? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Beach Speaks. If you enjoyed what you heard, please spread the beachy vibes and share it with a friend. Because, let's be honest, who doesn't want more beach in their lives? And if more beach is what you crave, go to thebeachspeaks.com and sign up for my newsletter. It's an easy way to stay in the know, collect some tips and travel hacks for your next beach adventure, and find out what I'm doing at the beach. And if you want to dive deeper into the ocean of support, consider becoming a Beach Speaks Patreon member. Your contribution helps keep the podcast afloat, and you'll enjoy some cool perks that only our Patreon family gets to enjoy. The beach is speaking. Are you listening?